Hello there. With Jurassic World Evolution 3 launching next week, I think it's about time I gave my final opinions on the roster as we have it fully confirmed. I will have the current confirmed roster on the screen now for you to look at while I'm talking about a couple of the species in just a little bit. I don't really know what I'm going to say for this video. I'm kind of just going to ramble on my thoughts about the cut species and the species that we do have confirmed, and give my little opinions on them as we go along. Enjoy. I'm going to talk about the cut species now, and oh boy, are there some controversial cuts. Oh my. Immediately the ones that I'm looking at, Archelon, Nothosaurus, Shonisaurus, Minmi, Deinonychus, and Gigantoraptor are probably the ones that stick out the most to me. Maybe Amargasaurus and Styxosaurus, I know was another popular one. But, oh my. Trading them for something like Archaeornithomimus. But, there's a lot of species here for the roster that have been cut that I actually don't think will come back. And I feel like that's more because it takes so much time for Frontier to give them the new animations for their babies and for the female versions and the models and all of that. I don't know if it's worth the time, especially on something like Alamosaurus, where we have Patagotitan. Patagotitan is Alamosaurus TLC. I feel like we can all agree on that, and it's with a heavy heart that I think we have to say Alamosaurus may never see the light of day again, which is sad because it was my favourite sauropod from Evolution 2. Something like Dracorex, I don't think will ever see the light of day again, unfortunately. But there's a lot of species that are most likely going to be returned to the game, i.e. Majungasaurus, Segisaurus, Deinonychus, Gigantoraptor, Nothosaurus. Those sort of species cannot not be in the third installment. And they're not going to get cut forever. They will come back. The question is, how does Frontier do it? And that's the talking point as well at the moment. Do we get them back in DLCs? Do we get them in free updates? My personal opinion is this completely depends on how our first DLC is structured. If our first DLC is going to tell us everything, basically. What we're getting, what the rest of the DLCs are going to look like, how returning species are going to be handled. And they need to come back for free in some sense. I feel like we need, because there's not enough DLC to bring every species back. And I don't think every species will. If we can get 1 to 2 species every free update, which I think is manageable, or larger DLC packs. Larger DLC packs, maybe 6 to 7 species coming, maybe 4 new, 3 returning, or 5 new, 2 returning, something like that. Because you can't just have a returning species pack. That will not go down well with the community, because why do we have to pay for them again? In short, which is fair, I 100% agree, I don't want to have to pay for them either. Again, twice, but, that's most likely the reality. But we've seen with Planet Zoo that they can make large packs of 3 individuals for a species, because in Planet Zoo we get male, female. That wind is loud outside. We get male, female, and juveniles. So it's not impossible to say that they can do it, especially for something like 5 species or whatever. That's the way they need to handle these cut species. But aside from that, I want to go a bit more into my opinions on the cut species. And name just a couple of species that I'm actually really disappointed are cut from the game. Which I got quite a short end here because I like quite a lot of the cut species. Amargasaurus, Archelon, Australovenator as an Australian dinosaur, as an Australian myself, who we have no representation. We have Muttaburrasaurus. That stings a bit. Carcharodontosaurus is alright. I like the Carcha. Deinonychus, obviously, is a big one I'm upset about. Gigantoraptor, again, I'm upset about because Gigantoraptor is gorgeous. I am very sorry about that wind. I can't do much. I can't control the weather. Jeholopterus, I'm upset about. Marodactylus. Now, I don't know why, but I really like Marodactylus. I don't know what has possessed me to, but I like Marodactylus a lot. And it's with a heavy heart that I have to say I don't think it'll come back. I think Myrodactylus is gone, just like Alamosaurus. Min-Me, upset about Nothosaurus. I'm quite upset about Tyrannosaurus, Pachyrhinosaurus. I like them. Both of them will be back, I'm almost positive. Shonisaurus is another one I'm disappointed about. Sinosauropteryx, but I can understand why it was cut. We already have a lot of small dinosaurs coming back. Morris Intrepidus, Compsognathus. Psittacosaurus is one that they're adding. Lystrosaurus, Microceratus. Styxosaurus, I'm sad about because I like the Styxo. I liked its bioluminescence because it was cool. And Wuerahuasaurus as a... I butchered that. Wuerahuasaurus. The one that's in the red circle. That one. As a large Stegosaurid who we really don't have a lot of, like, comparatively, comparing it to Stegosaurus, it was the only one that could really match up in size. And it was really unique as well. With its more circular plates. Quite upset about that one too. But, you know, I'm positive that especially a lot of the really popular ones will come back. Something like Myrodactylus and Alamosaurus, Dracorex, Leopleurodon might not come back. Sungaripteryx might not come back. But something like Gigantoraptor, Dinochirus, Archelon are coming back. I don't see a reality where they don't come back. Ooh. Alright. The main roster. Boy, do I have some things to say about this one. But I'm going to preface this with saying that I understand the choices. I understand. They're on a time crunch. They, don't have a lot of time. I completely understand that. And I completely understand that animals from the similar clades and families and that, who have similar rigs, models, animations and that, are a lot easier to make. And I understand that. But that does not mean that I can't be disappointed about it, what it means. Archaeornithomimus is basically the entire talking point. Archaeornithomimus is the reason I made this video. Because we have Ornithomimus, Gallimimus, and Struthiomimus. You don't need Archaeornithomimus. And when Archaeornithomimus is taking the slot of something like Gigantoraptor, you question things. Because it's like, really? Like, really? You looked at Archaeornithomimus and Gigantoraptor and said, you know what? It's worth the extra however much that we'll save, time-wise, money-wise, etc., for Gigantoraptor to put Archaeornithomimus in the game. It's like, come on, mate. Like, seriously. Ceratopsids as well. There is no... I think Styracosaurus is the only non-movie ceratopsid, large ceratopsid, that is in the game. Chasmosaurus, never mind. I'm okay with that. We have a lot of, like, they're not all dromaeosaurs, but dromaeosaurs in the game, because I get it, they're easy to make as well, and you know what? Fair enough. I'm not going to complain about them. It's a lot of personal choices for me. Seems something like Plesiosaurus come back when it could have been Styxosaurus is like, really? Or again, for me, Trapeognathus over Myrodactylus is outrageous to me. But, you know, we keep our cool. And they've done a good job. I will give them that. I feel like they've picked not the best roster they could have, but the best that they can do under Universal's license, because I'm almost positive that's why dinosaurs like Archaeornithomimus are in, because they're under the Universal license, and there's some fees and problems going on over there, which I'm not going to talk about, because it's not my problem. Corythosaurus is cool, I guess. I'm kind of just looking at the roster here and just deciding what I want to pick at. The Pterosaur roster. I'm quite happy with the Pterosaur roster. Well, Kyujara and Tapajara, cool. Quetzalcoatlus and Thanatos Draken, really happy about. We get our gorgeous feathered Adstarchids. I really hope that we can see Hatzegopteryx in this game as one that we get added. The Aquatics, pretty happy with that. You know, we get Megalodon, Mosasaurus, Dunkleosteus, Chronosaurus. Some really nice ones there. Hybrids, I'm happy. I don't know, I'm big into the hybrids. I know a lot of people aren't. I know a lot of people look at them and go, oh my god, why do we need them in the game? They're so ugly. But I love them. I was a day one Ankylodocus lover. I don't care what people said about that thing in the first game. I loved it. I loved Ankylodocus. Yes, it was dumb, it was hideous. But it was hideous in a charming way. And you've got to take the good with the bad. I liked Ankylodocus in the first game. But that does not mean that the Evolution 2 model that they made is worse by any stretch of the imagination. It is heaps better. And I'm super glad that we got that over what we did have. Because as much as I love the old one is not as good as the new one. Scorpius Rex, Spinoraptor, Stegoceratops. A lot of people do not like Stegoceratops. I do. I think it's goofy. I think it's dumb. I think it's cool. It's a big-ass dinosaur with cool big-ass weaponry, and I'm here for it. The only thing I am a bit annoyed about is that it doesn't use the tail spikes, which is like, what's the point in having them then? My Christ. So frustrating. We have a lot of unnecessary hadrosaurs, in my opinion. Something like Centaurosaurus. Again, why? What about Centaurosaurus made you go, yes, we need that? You know? Which is fine, but oh well. I'm hoping this means that we can see a bit of extra stuff come to the other dinosaurs and reptiles that have been cut, because I feel like there's some things that are just missing from them that could be added by giving Frontier a little bit more time. I'm talking about Nothosaurus and Archelon being able to use the deep water as habitat animals, or specifically Nothosaurus. But, that's up to them. I hope that's what they do. I hope we see Nothosaurus as a proper habitat animal who can use the deep water, or we see some lagoon interaction with the mainland. But that's going to get me sidetracked really quickly. Locuceratops. And basically just all of the new species they've added. They look phenomenal. They look phenomenal. The model, the animations, gorgeous. Cannot wait to get my hands on them in, I can do math, 6 days. What? Yeah, 6 days. Wow, less than a week. Okay. I've just gotten really excited. I forgot how close this game was. I'm really excited. Alright. Patagotitan, yeah, like I said, it's a new one. I really like it. I'm looking at this roster, and I have a lot less problems with it than I thought I did. Like, I thought I would be sitting here for ages rambling about what I hated about who they chose. But I'm kind of happy. I'm someone who likes variety. I like to look at a habitat and go, okay, let's build it for this type of thing, and then choose what one to put in there. Like, I want to build a Ceratopsid habitat and then have options to choose for my Ceratopsid. That goes for my Ornithomimids. I like having variety. I like not having to go... Like, if you're talking about something like... what's a good example that I can... I don't really know. I haven't really got a good example, but... Pachycephalosaurids. We have 3 in the game? Yeah? Stygimolocampalocephaly Pachycephalosaurus? Yeah, that's right. And Stygimologum Pachycephalosaurus are the only ones you're actually able to see. So that's cool. But I'd like to get another one, because it's just more variety. I hope you see another one. I think I've rambled on for enough. I think I've said everything I needed to say in this video. The roster could be improved. The roster could be improved. But it also could have been worse. Think about it this way. We could have gotten Barbaridactylus over Quetzalcoatlus. Or we could have gotten Euoplocephalus over Styracosaurus. Which I don't actually know why I picked that. It's not really a good example. But we could have gotten Ouranosaurus over T-Rex. That was never going to happen. But I'm just trying to exaggerate my point to say that the roster could have been worse. And I'm quite grateful with the one we have. Thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more news that comes out. I will be talking a lot about the game when it comes out. See you in the next one.